Alright, hello everyone, it is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another review. This is a review that is a while in the making. It's been a while since I did a review, and this is definitely a review that I should have done weeks ago, but I didn't. But thankfully, we're here now for it, and it's going to be Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. The first of two matches they would have with each other, I should say, over the NXT Women's Championship. This one and then NXT Takeover Respect, the 30-minute Iron Woman match. So, as always, I'm not professional. I am not a professional wrestling reviewer, just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a good time watching this match. And when people will say that NXT had and possibly still even has one of, if not the best women's division in pro wrestling, this is the type of match that they're referring to. This and their match at Takeover Respect. These are the matches that people will point to say this is why NXT's women's division was top notch, and in some ways still is. But without further ado, let's get into it. So we have pros and cons. Though honestly, the cons really aren't going to matter in the in the grand scheme of things, because this is definitely still a really fun match, a really good match to watch. I definitely recommend checking this match out. It's just more so kind of nitpicks, but um, in terms of the pros and everything, and honestly, this goes for just about any Sasha Banks versus Bayley interaction, whether they're fighting each other or they're teaming up, of which obviously they've done both in NXT and on the main roster. But basically, they have really good chemistry with one another. They know each other so well. They're able to work well with each other and make it look fantastic. And this here is no exception. And the story they're telling is a compelling one, and it's one that's clearly defined. It's definitely a face versus heel dynamic. Sasha Banks is the heel; she's the boss and everything. She's like very arrogant, very cocky, very full of herself and everything. At least she runs NXT, and that Bayley is a loser and everything. But then Bayley is like the white meat baby face, the hero to the young children and everything, and the plucky baby face. He's the work hard baby face, where if you work hard, your dreams can come true, which is a character we've seen before and since. But Bayley, I think, definitely pulls it off, and the dynamic is clearly defined, and it works here. And uh, throughout this match, we see that dynamic unfold, where Sasha does a lot of taunting, and in a lot of ways, her hubris and everything, and could be what is kind of what costs her. And then, meanwhile, on the other hand, Bayley is hiding back and is trying to overcome the obstacles that Sasha Banks is putting in her way. She's not going to take Sasha's offense lying down. She's fighting back, and she ends up winning, of course, the NXT Women's Championship. In terms of the other stuff I like, there's a lot of explosiveness. There's a lot of back and forth. Both women, it's not too one sided to where one is clearly going to be the winner, and then one you can tell is going to lose the match. It's kind of unpredictable in a lot of ways. Now, obviously, we like people who've seen the match before, or at least know the outcome of the match. We know who's winning. But if you're someone who's watching this for the first time, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time I've seen this match. I know I've seen one of their matches in NXT, the one that just talked about, the takeover matches. I think it was the one at Respect that I watched, and I'm watching this one for the first time. But even watching this, uh, and especially if you're watching this for the first time, it's very evenly matched. You can't really tell who's going to win, and you think Sasha's going to come out the victor, but oh no, Bayley comes back and oh, she looks like she can be the victor. So it's a lot of back and forth, and it looks really good. And obviously, like I said, Bayley does end up winning and everything. So very good back and forth. Both women work very well with each other. Um, in terms of what I didn't really like about the match, and again, this is kind of a nitpicky thing. This isn't really going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things. The only thing is Bayley's supposed hand injury. They said she injured her hand, and then Sasha targets the hand and everything, and trying to like damage the hand because Sasha is the heel, and the heels normally go after the destroyed limbs and everything. Faces do sometimes too, but it's normally the heel who goes after the limb aggressively and everything. If there's like a torn limb and stuff like that, or like a messed up limb and everything, they'll go after it aggressively. Another example I can give is Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes at Hell in a Cell, where Seth was going after Cody's uh, bicep tear and everything, and or a pectoral tear, I should say, not bicep, but pectoral tear, which, man, I'm thinking about that again, and wow, oh, now that I'm thinking about it again, that was pretty nasty. Cody, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, but if you're watching this, please, for the sake of all of us, we respect the effort, but never do that again. We want to see you wrestle, man. We want to see you wrestle, but nevertheless, back to this match. Sasha was, of course, going after the hand, Bayley, and everything. But then by the end of it, as Bayley pushed Sasha in her own bank statement, and suddenly Bayley's hand isn't really hurting as much anymore. And she's able to use it normally and everything for like the rest of the match, which kind of took me out of it a little bit, but not enough to ruin the match too much for me. Now, I know for some people that does get under the skin, like the no selling and everything, and they can use the excuse of, oh, well, it's adrenaline. Bailey's feeling the adrenaline and everything, and when you're feeling adrenaline and stuff that's really hurt, I say, fine, okay, but not even like a wince or anything. And you have her like keep going with like the hand and everything, but like wince, like so much pain. I'm hurting Sasha and everything, but it's a lot of pain on my hand. And but we didn't really get that. She was committed to it and everything at first, and Bailey's hand was like wrapped, and then Sasha exposed the wrap. Exposed. They said, hey, she exposed the injured hand and everything, but um, yeah, we didn't really get that, which is a little bit bothersome. But again, not enough to ruin it. But the other thing is commentary. Corey Graves and Byron Saxton were on commentary, and there was the third person, Tom Phillips, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason I point out Corey and Byron is because, like they do on the main roster, they are arguing back and forth, and it's kind of annoying. I can't lie. That's why I kind of try. I kind of try to tune commentary out, and like I mentioned before, when I do the wrestling reviews, the commentary is either going to be like a non-factor at best, or sometimes that actually adds to the match. But then at worst, they're insufferable. And Corey and Byron's arguing. Oh, well, I've listened to it for years. And know why they do that. Corey's supposed to be more like the heel announcer and everything, and the heel commentator. Byron's supposed to be more like the face announcer and everything. But hearing them constantly bicker like an old married couple, it does get annoying after a while. I get they're just trying to do their job and everything. They're doing what they're told, but man, it gets annoying after a while. But thankfully, it wasn't enough to ruin the match for me. I tried my best to just block them out, but it's there. But if you don't pay attention to the commentary and you kind of forgive the whole not really selling the hand too much, it's still a really solid match between two absolute workhorses when it comes to NXT. Definitely put uh, the entire four horsewomen and a lot of other stars just like Ember Moon and Asuka and Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane definitely put the NXT Women's Division on the map, and this match is no exception. So I definitely recommend checking out this match, and I definitely had a fun time watching it. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. Later on today, we're also going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode 2. Alright, hello everyone. It is Nigel here once again. And finally, after weeks of waiting and gnashing of teeth and a lot of anticipation, I finally review Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT Takeover Respect, the 30-minute Iron Man match. I thought it was called. I could have swore it was called an Iron Woman match. Because where they were calling it the Iron Woman match for here, but nope, they just referred to it as the Iron Man match. So, okay, but of course, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer at all. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a good time watching this match. So, um, the thing about this rivalry is, and I kind of mentioned it when I reviewed Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. If you haven't already, check out that review. But I mentioned it before how this feud between Sasha Banks and Bayley is what really helps legitimize the NXT Women's Division, and honestly, the WWE Women's Division as a whole in WWE, at least in the modern time. This and of course AJ Lee. Uh, this is around the time when women's wrestling was really starting to be taken even more seriously in WWE. The Divas title was it was still there, but it wouldn't be around for too much longer, and the women's division was definitely undergoing a huge change, and these were the horsewomen to usher it in. Now, apparently, interesting footnote: this is the first time the women main evented an NXT Takeover pay per view. So between this and main eventing WrestleMania, history was made both times by members of the Four Horsewomen, and more specifically, the kind of opposites. Here at Takeover, we got Bayley and Sasha Banks, but then at WrestleMania, we had Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. But interesting tidbit, and the fans absolutely loved it. They were chanting women's wrestling, and this is awesome and stuff like that. The fans were really into it. Takeover crowds usually are some of the best crowds in pro wrestling. But let's get into this match, and let's talk about if you've watched these reviews, you kind of already know how this works. I'm going to be talking about what I like and dislike about the match and everything. What I like is both women, like I mentioned also again in my Brooklyn review, and it bears repeating here because it's present in pretty much any time these two face each other, because they face each other many times WWE. This wasn't the first time that they would be facing each other, and it certainly wouldn't be the last. Thank God for that, because these women work so well with each other. They have such great chemistry. They definitely know how to work with each other and play off of each other, and the whole story of Bayley being the lovable face and Sasha Banks being the cocky, arrogant heel. Well, except now a new dynamic, as now Bayley's champion. So now she's proving her worth. Is she truly worth being champion? Like, is she a worthy champion? And Sasha Banks now taking Bayley a bit more seriously, because she's been beaten before by Bayley. She's been humbled by Bayley. And perfect bit of storytelling to get this match started and get this match off the ground. And they definitely show that throughout the match, with Sasha Banks doing a lot of like devious heel stuff, and Bayley trying to be more like courageous and fighting back and everything. One of the falls that Sasha gets in the Iron Man match is a count out victory, which of course the heels happy to take the count out victory. That's a fall, but yeah. So definitely good stuff there. A lot of action throughout. They do have some respites here and there, but for the most part, it's a lot of back and forth and everything. Both women, of course, just like Brooklyn, looking very evenly matched and stuff like that. In terms of what I disliked, this mainly has to do with commentary. Now, I've mentioned before how commentary will either be, at best, like a non-factor, or sometimes they'll contribute, but at worst, they're pretty annoying. And here, I'll admit, they were kind of annoying. And mainly Byron and Corey arguing, of course, as is tradition with like face and heel commentators. Byron is the face commentator, so he's gonna lean more towards the faces. He's gonna get all pouty and everything, and when the heels do the heel stuff. Meanwhile, Corey is more like the heel commentator. He's the party pooper. He does bring up some very realistic points, but he favors the heels uh, and he cheers for the heels and everything. But it can get pretty annoying. A lot of their bickering back and forth and stuff, and it's like it's super distracting. Now, obviously, if you were there live in attendance at Full Sail, which is where this event took place, sometimes they did the takeover events right there at Full Sail University back when NXT was there, and I think they're returning to Full Sail if I'm not mistaken. They obviously couldn't go there anymore because of COVID and everything, but I think they are returning to Full Sail. But the events that were at Full Sail, such as like NXT Takeover, Respect, if you were there in attendance, you probably didn't hear the commentators unless you were like right behind them. But otherwise, they were kind of annoying. And the third person, I couldn't pinpoint who that third person was, but at least the third person managed to remain neutral for the most part. But yeah, so still a really solid match, and I'm glad that I watched it, and I found myself really enjoying it. Now, the question is this better or worse than their match at Takeover Brooklyn? And uh, not I shouldn't really say better or worse. I say, do I like their match at Takeover Brooklyn more than this match? Or do I like this match? Is the sequel better than the original? Between these two matches, and maybe I'm in the minority here, but I think I got to go with Takeover Brooklyn. I think this match, don't get me wrong, this is a good match. I recommend checking it out. But the problem is that they do have to stall for time quite a bit. Thankfully, they keep the action going to where it's not too much stalling, but there is stalling. And that, I think, when it comes to like Iron Man matches, that's one of the big problems that you have, is that you have this time limit. You have to wrestle for like 30 minutes. If it's like a regular match, you can wrestle as long as you want. But for like the Iron Man match, you gotta stretch the time. You gotta fill the gaps. For example, the hour-long Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. Um, you pretty much have to stretch, and you gotta get stuff in between. You gotta pile the stuff in between, and so you really gotta stretch. And obviously, they were waiting for her, and there were some falls in between. The score ended up being 3-2 in favor of Bayley, but what they were mainly waiting for was within the last 20 seconds, Bayley locking in the submission. And Sasha Banks tapping to give Bayley that third fall, which won her the match. So, but that came at the last 20 minutes, and I get why they do that. It's supposed to build up excitement at the end, like, oh crap, is Sasha gonna tap? Oh my god, she's got 20 seconds left. Oh no, is it gonna be a tie? Is Sasha gonna tap? Is Bayley gonna retain? Oh, Sasha tapped. Okay, Bayley retains, and then pretty much after Sasha taps, the match pretty much ends. Afterwards, because there's like 4 seconds left on the clock. Now that happens, like I said, in the last 20 seconds. So that means for about 29 minutes and 40 seconds, and you have to fill up that time, and you have to keep the action going for that amount of time. Now, thankfully, like I said, thankfully Sasha Banks and Bayley were able to work around it and make it look good. It didn't really feel like 30 minutes. A lot of the stuff felt very natural and had a nice ebb and flow to it, which was really good. And of course, speaking to the chemistry between them, the fact that they're able to pull this off and make it look good to where it didn't feel like 30 minutes, and the fans were definitely enjoying a lot of the back and forth and everything, but you essentially have to stretch for that time. Plus, the whole thing of like Sasha Banks now paying more respect to Bayley and not taking her as lightly anymore, or versus Bayley trying to prove her worth as champion. That's a good narrative, of course, and it works out obviously. But I think you kind of lean more towards like the underdog story from Brooklyn, where Bayley was like, is she gonna win the championship? And Sasha like not really taking Bayley seriously, and it leads to her downfall. I feel like they constructed that narrative better versus the other one. Like I said, the other one not bad, but you definitely resonate a little bit more with the whole plucky underdog baby face versus cocky arrogant heel, which it's in our take our respect. Sasha was still being like the cocky heel and everything, but it's definitely. I feel like it's played out a bit better at Takeover Brooklyn, but nevertheless, still really good match. Glad I was finally able to get around to watching it, and I definitely enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it with your friends, and definitely check out this match if you haven't already. I definitely recommend it. In terms of what we're going to do for the rest of the week, I was live a little while ago on Twitch for Detroit Become Human, and so far, really crazy start to that. I had a lot of interesting stuff going on there. So next time I'm live, which I'll let you guys know, come and join me. You'll be glad you did. And on Wednesday will be the Selena crime analysis. So we'll be taking a look at that, the crime surrounding it, and how that happened. And I may squeeze in a couple reviews this week as well. Uh, and we're going to resume Star Wars probably next week once September starts and everything. And I decided to take a little break from Star Wars after I finished up the prequel trilogy, but we'll be back with Star Wars and everything. And what I've done is, and I did it for the Spiral trilogy, I compiled my reviews of the Star Wars movies, both the originals and the prequels, into compilation type video. It was pretty much bringing the reviews together. So if you don't want to watch each review individually, that's fine. You can instead watch the all three reviews all at once and check those out. So if you haven't already, if you haven't seen those reviews already, definitely go check those out. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace. Oops, sorry about my camera, but thanks for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.